Hi, it's Ileana. So recently I had been watching an interesting interview between Michael Herrera, Joey, it's not my name, and this guy has been connected to Michael in trying to understand and do research in how Michael was, I guess, able to go to a black site facility and look at what the Black Operations Group is doing, because Michael had met an insider who had flown him in by helicopter to this undisclosed black site facility somewhere in the US. Now, Michael lives in Colorado, so a helicopter was used to fly him out to that facility to meet the insider. Now, Michael has said that he cannot discuss anything to do with that visit with the insider, what was shown to him at the black site. Because of important stuff, he cannot disclose that information. What's inside the black site, what he saw, what he was told. He continues to share information that the Black Operations Group uses psionics to connect to extraterrestrial technology that was recovered from crash site retrievals of non-human intelligence crafts. Bodies were recovered, and that these P3 psionics are able to interface with this technology and reverse engineer crafts and study the technology, and that it's being done in various undisclosed secret locations. This could be in underground facilities. This could be in research and development R&D labs, a mixture of various facilities. He says it's all been done underground. Now these sites, Black Operations Group sites, they might have surface level facilities where research and development is done. Michael says it's mostly underground, and that he had a black site visit sometime either in end of 2023 or sometime during 2024. And Joey, it's not my name, he was able to track the date and time that Michael was flown by the helicopter to the black site facility, because Michael had told Joey that he was going to go and have a meeting with the insider at an undisclosed location at a black site facility that is secured, and that he would be going there. Joey's like, okay, well, maybe you shouldn't go. It could be dangerous. Michael needed to know what the insider wanted to share with him, because it was pertinent information to his own experiences of what happened to Michael Herrera in Indonesia, and seeing a reverse engineered craft with cargo of humans being loaded in trucks onto a levitating platform on that craft in Indonesia. And that was when the Sumatra earthquake had happened. And so there was humanitarian mission work being done in 2009, and Michael had been part of a mission squad team with the Marines off the USS Denver, that craft, and he had been flown in a helicopter with a squad and to do that humanitarian work and to do security work. And they saw in the jungle this kind of octagonal, triangular shaped craft with a pyramid device on top of it. That was grayish matte black, and it had camouflage abilities, likely cloaking, and there were Black Ops personnel, men with firearms, guarding these trucks, loading the, I guess, stasis pod containers that kept these psionics in them, with an HVAC air exchange system on the top of the crates. At that time, Michael thought it was drug smuggling that was going on, but it wasn't. It was human gifted psionics. I guess you could call them gifted psychics, but the term they use, the Black Operations Group, is psionics. The proper term with those that have these abilities that can summon non-human intelligent crafts, and then the Black Operations Group shoots them down with EMP laser weapons, advanced weapons that they keep developing at these black sites. On the surface level above the site and underground, they develop weapons as well and do a lot of other things with the psionics. So this is what Michael has officially disclosed. He has not said anything about what he was shown at the black site when he went into this underground location. But Joey was able to track the helicopter ride, the trajectory of where it took off and where it landed with Michael Herrera on board. Maybe the insider was on board already. Maybe the insider was waiting for Michael at the black site. We don't know for sure. But Michael was flown to this black site facility. And again, Michael lives in Colorado. So it could have been from any airports. The biggest airport in Colorado is the Denver airport. There's Boulder, Colorado. There's like 76 airports in Colorado itself. So based on what Michael had shared with Joey, that he was going to meet with the insider at the black site facility, Joey was able to piece together the flight plan of the helicopter, when it took off, where it landed. So Joey knows the specifics of where this black site is, and he cannot disclose that information as well. He is honoring Michael's wishes not to disclose the location for whatever security purposes. They need to keep this undisclosed, I guess. So for whatever reasons, they need to keep it undisclosed security-wise. Classified information about this black site facility. So it remains an undisclosed black site where Michael met with the insider, who I guess briefed him in more on what the Black Operations Group does. Michael claims these are the good guys who want to disclose what the, I guess, not so good guys are. Aspects of the Black Operations Group operators. So there is an element of the Black Operations Group who are on the good side and ones that are not on the good side and want to keep the lights on and keep this program in operation going, and for it to never see the light of day, what happens there. That's what Michael has disclosed. So those are sort of the known public facts of what Michael has shared so far. And I've done some remote viewing on the Black Operations Group Black Site facility, the one that Michael went to. And I saw some strange things that they're working on developing, basically pyramid-shaped generators to create zero-point energy to extract and use it as a form of power sources, not to be reliable on the surface power grid systems anymore, to be self-independent. They're working on quantum technology, computer systems to have closed-in systems where nothing can be tracked, hacked, or figured like exposed in communications, in private communication systems, working on photon crystal technology as the quantum system for these technologies. And I guess the element of the psionics is there, and the reverse engineering of pyramid-shaped, triangular-shaped craft as well. That stuff is worked on in some of these underground black site facilities. Now, the psionics can be kept in different facilities or research centers. Again, there's no specifics on who's where, and the fact is this group does various things. There's also cloning going on, cloning facilities, and technology that allows for bodies to be cloned, for organs to be 3D printed, where if you have failing liver, kidney, whatnot organs, those could be matched perfectly to your DNA, so you don't have to be on a waiting list to have a transplant anymore. This is what the Black Operations Group has, and it has captured ETs, extraterrestrials, has captured their crafts. There's a possibility the psionics and those extraterrestrials that were captured are held prisoners in these facilities. And Antarctica could have something to do with this, because one of the cloning centers is in Antarctica. That's what my remote viewing showed. It is my remote viewing data. It is nothing that Michael has publicly said as what he saw. So we don't have any baseline to match up what Michael has seen or been shown in this black site facility, or maybe other black site facilities that he's visited after that particular introduction by the insider. But he got a tour of a black site facility. Again, what I just said about what I saw in the remote viewing is what I saw of that black site facility based at looking at certain data sets from what Michael has said. I was tasked to remote view, like blind double target tasking. I was tasked to remote view these black sites and what's there. So there's nothing from Michael describing these black sites. There's only this remote viewing data so far, so I cannot equivocally verify that there's these pyramid generators attached to these rectangular, octagonal, square shaped bases with levitating pyramid shaped craft basically floating in the hangar decks in these multi-level facilities underground. That's just what was in my original remote viewing that was done in March 2024. That's what I have so far. But I thought it would be important, that's kind of the background information to all of this, but I thought it would be important to sort of look at understanding the workings of underground military black site facilities on Earth, and what are their functions? How do they work? How are they built? What happens there? Just to get a perspective, because Michael cannot say for whatever reasons the, I guess, rankings of these facilities, like the inner workings maybe of them, but there is information about these types of facilities and what generally happens there. So I thought we'd have a look at that and what that could look like. What are underground military black site facilities? Underground military black site facilities are covert installations operated by military or intelligence agencies designed primarily for classified purposes, such as interrogation and detention. These facilities may be used for interrogating high-value detainees or individuals considered significant to national security, research and development. They can serve as laboratories for developing advanced technologies, weapons systems, or conducting sensitive scientific research. Secure communication centers. Some facilities are dedicated to secure communications, ensuring encrypted and protected channels for sensitive military or intelligence operations. Command and control. Certain black sites function as command centers for coordinating special operations, intelligence gathering, or crisis response. Training and simulation. Facilities might be used for training special forces or conducting simulated exercises under controlled conditions. Storage of sensitive materials. They may house classified materials, equipment, or archives that require high levels of security and protection. These sites are typically chosen for their remote locations, hidden entrances, and robust security measures to maintain secrecy and operational security. The existence of underground military black site facilities is often kept classified, and their activities are subject to strict confidentiality protocols. And this is what an underground entrance to a black site facility could look like. There's corridors, there's entrances, there's tunnel systems, different chambers where things are housed. This is kind of a rendition of what that could look like. A rendering. What do underground black site military facilities have? Underground black site military facilities typically have several characteristics. Secrecy and security. They are highly classified and designed to operate covertly. Often located in remote or undisclosed locations to maintain secrecy. So often located in remote or undisclosed locations to maintain secrecy. That's typical, and Michael is probably following procedures and protocols of things that are classified, which he cannot openly say at this time because otherwise it might put these insiders, these people who work in these facilities, at risk if the black site facility location is disclosed before they're ready to disclose it themselves. There could be any factors why Michael cannot discuss any of this. We don't know. But I'm hoping that this article helps to give some insights about how these black sites are operated. There's advanced infrastructure. These facilities boast advanced technology and infrastructure, including secure communications, power generation, and environmental controls. Defensive measures. They are fortified against various threats, including physical attacks, surveillance, and espionage. Research and development. Some facilities are dedicated to classified research and development projects, including advanced weapon systems or sensitive technologies. Operational flexibility. They are equipped to support a variety of military operations or intelligence missions with capabilities for deployment, logistics, and command functions. Personnel and support services. They include living quarters, dining facilities, medical services, and other amenities necessary to sustain personnel on site for extended periods. These facilities could be huge, like cities, underground cities or bunkers, or military facilities, which this black site probably is, military / city living environment type of a situation. Again, I can't speculate. This is just a hypothesis I have, but it seems very advanced, and it's kind of important to try to understand how this stuff works. If Michael can't disclose some of it, what are the logistics of what information can we find of how these things operate through research? And this is it. These are some of the logistical things of how these black sites are set up and what they do, and what I think can be, disclosed. I'm not telling anybody world secrets. I'm just talking about the structural aspects, the logistical aspects of these black sites. There is information about it. And this is typical stuff. And there's access control. Strict access control measures are in place to limit entry to authorized personnel only, often requiring clearance levels beyond typical military bases. So I gather Michael was probably given some kind of specialized clearance levels of being able to enter this military black site base facility. He was probably given temporary clearance levels or visitor guest clearance levels of a special nature that the insider arranged for Michael to be able to go into this black site, because it's mostly for military personnel. So some kind of an arrangement had to be made that allowed Michael to go on the premises to visit this underground facility. So these characteristics allow underground black site military facilities to operate discreetly while supporting critical national security objectives. And this is just another rendering of what a black site facility could look like, either on the surface or underground. They can be constructed in different ways, modules, of whatever will work for the facility specifically, and what the nature of the facility is. It could be research and development, it could be weapons systems, it could be defense, counter defense, it could be any of the above or other criteria that's needed for these specific sites, beyond even what's mentioned here. What type of technology do underground black site military facilities use? Underground black site military facilities utilize a variety of advanced technologies to support their operations and maintain security. Some key technologies typically found in such facilities include advanced surveillance and security systems. These include state-of-the-art cameras, motion sensors, biometric scanners, and other monitoring devices to detect and deter unauthorized access, probably drones, non-human manned technology, aerial technology, underground technology that monitors these sites to make sure there's no incursions, biometric systems that read retina scanning or even whole scanning of the body. You stand on a platform, it scans you to make sure you don't have any weapons on you, you don't have any implants or spy equipment. It scans your whole body, or it's a wand type of a device that you're scanned with at these security checkpoints, wherever that is, before you even enter the facility. All kinds of technology, fingerprinting to prove who you are, background checks, all of that stuff. It's even done before you enter the facility to make sure you're authorized to be there, that you're not somebody who you're not supposed to be. Secure communications. Facilities employ encrypted communication systems that are resistant to interception or hacking, ensuring secure transmission of sensitive information, probably quantum computers and other systems that are not what you typically have of Wi-Fi and internet or intranet on the surface. Security measures and technology beyond the standard of what we have here right now. Hence, it can't be hacked, it can't be hijacked, can't be looked into. It's all encrypted. Hence, secure communications. Environmental control systems. Given their underground nature, these facilities have sophisticated systems for air filtration, temperature regulation, humidity control, and waste management to ensure a habitable environment. So You can live there for a long time or be there temporarily based on where you're stationed or what you're doing. But these facilities are designed for humans to be able to live there comfortably, and they're not primitive facilities. They're highly equipped. Power generation and backup. They often have robust power generation capabilities, including backup systems like generators or alternative energy sources to maintain operations in case of power outages. Advanced data centers. These facilities host high-security data centers with redundant storage and backup capabilities, safeguarding critical information and intelligence. Command and control systems. Integrated systems for command, control, and communications. C3. Facilitate coordination of military operations and intelligence activities from secure locations. Specialized equipment and laboratories. Some facilities may contain specialized equipment and laboratories for research, testing, or development of advanced technologies, weapon systems, or sensitive materials. Defensive and offensive capabilities. Depending on their mission, these facilities may be equipped with defensive measures such as blast doors, hardened structures, and possibly offensive capabilities for immediate response if required, like missile launchers, helicopters, fighter jets, reverse engineered UFO crafts that can be launched from underground hangar decks at any time, anti-gravity technology, levitation technology, cloaking technology, mini satellites, mini probes, anything that could be launched very quickly for surveillance, counter-defensive capabilities, nuclear missiles, nuclear fusion, and other stuff like that. That's just of things that I know of. There could be even more advanced technology, radar systems, EMP, scalar, laser weapons, platforms, on the surface, underground stuff. Overall, the technology used in underground black site military facilities is designed to ensure operational secrecy, security, resilience, and effectiveness in supporting classified missions and national security objectives. It's all classified stuff that you cannot get FOIA information on. There's no open source information on it. You cannot just send a FOIA request to whoever and get back info what these black sites do, because they're classified. So it doesn't fall under even FOIA, what the activities are of the black sites. And here are some more images of what the underground entrance systems, tunnel systems, corridors can look like at these facilities. Again, these are just renderings. Power plant, generator systems, what that looks like to generate energy and power supplies. What type of operational work is done at underground military black site facilities? Operational work at underground military black site facilities typically involves highly classified and sensitive activities such as research and development, conducting experiments, testing new technologies, and developing advanced weapon systems. Intelligence operations, gathering and analyzing intelligence through various means, including surveillance and reconnaissance. This could be through radar, satellites, and other advanced tech being deployed and employed by these black site facilities that are highly camouflaged and not detectable from surface level site locations. You could be flying over it and holographic tech is used and you wouldn't see the facility until you stumble onto their EMP platforms and they shoot you down if you're unauthorized to be there in a plane or helicopter. That's how good these facilities are. Training and simulation. Training personnel in specialized skills, tactics, and scenarios that may involve simulated combat or emergency situations, logistics and support, managing supplies, equipment, and maintenance activities to sustain operations in a secure and undisclosed location. Now, keep in mind, these black site facilities run by the Black Operations Group, they do have holographic technology, so they can put up a holographic image of a mountain system and overlay that on the surface, and you're flying by, you wouldn't even know that there's a base facility because it's covered up by the holographic text. So all you see is a mountain when there's actual surface level or underground structures, but it looks like a mountain. So you wouldn't know the difference. So what's there is structurally on the surface or not because of this holographic tech. That's the other aspect of this technology that they have. Logistics and support, managing supplies, equipment, and maintenance activities to sustain operations in a secure and undisclosed location. Security and defense, implementing stringent security measures to protect the facility and its activities from unauthorized access or detection. These facilities are designed to operate covertly and are typically involved in activities critical to national security and defense strategies in whatever countries that these sites are in. It could be the US, it could be other countries. Michael went to a US facility somewhere outside Colorado. I'm presuming it is a US facility, and it was tracked. Joey is not my name, tracked the flight records of where the helicopter took off from, which airport, where it landed at this black site facility. So if you have a know-how, you could track somebody's flight records through the FAA and other online app resources. If you know the person's name, if you know the date, day, time of when the person is leaving, what airport they're going to, what kind of a craft they're boarding, whether it's a plane, helicopter, and there's a flight plan of where the craft is taking off and where it's landing at what airport, what facility. It could be private airport or it could be a public airport depending on where you're going. So Joey is not my name was able to track down all that information to get a specific location of the black site of where Michael was flown to and met that insider. And this image is just, again, a rendering approximation of what these black site facilities can look like. What type of specific work is done at underground military black site facilities? Specific work conducted at underground military black site facilities can include interrogation and detention, conducting interrogations of high-value detainees or individuals of interest in a secure and controlled environment. Research and development, R&D, advancing cutting-edge technologies, weapon systems, or defense strategies that require secrecy and protection from adversaries. Specialized training, training elite military units or intelligence operatives, and specialized tactics, operations, and skills crucial for covert missions or unconventional warfare. Testing and evaluation, evaluating the performance and capabilities of classified equipment, vehicles, or systems under controlled conditions. Cyber operations, conducting offensive or defensive cyber operations, including intelligence gathering, network exploitation, and cyber warfare capabilities. Emergency response and crisis management, preparing for and responding to potential national emergencies, including natural disasters, terrorist threats, or other crises requiring rapid and covert action, like what Michael went on in that humanitarian mission off the USS Denver craft that was on water. he was chosen to be on a squad of volunteers after Chow Hall service duty, and he went with a group of several platoon members to do security work for the Marines, basically delivering humanitarian supplies to the Indonesian peoples who are affected by the earthquake and the tsunami from the Sumatra earthquake in 2009. And Michael's group witnessed this craft with trucks loading these huge crates with HVAC systems on top of them and stasis pods inside those crates with live human beings that are psionics being transported onto this levitation platform on this hovering craft that is reverse engineered man-made technology, most likely Lockheed Martin. And so these are the perfect opportunities for these black operatives, black operations group operatives, to come in when they're responding to national emergencies, including natural disasters, terrorist threats, or other crises requiring rapid and covert action. And they can collect these gifted people and use them at other undisclosed underground locations to basically reverse engineer tech, because these people can telepathically interface with computer systems, advanced systems that can understand this extraterrestrial technology. So basically, under the guise of when there's a natural disaster or another crisis, these black operatives can come in, secretly get people out of war-torn places or natural disaster decimated areas. That can come in while humanitarian missions are happening. Under cover of that, they can come in and extract what they need of people, put them in stasis pods, crate them with these HVAC systems, transport them on reverse engineered crafts to undisclosed site facilities, and these people basically end up working for these groups, and they become willing participants because a better life is offered to them from whatever they're fleeing from. Natural disaster of an earthquake, mega thrust earthquake, or huge tsunami. If it's decimated your home and you have no clean water, no food, no shelter, no heating, what are you going to do? You have nothing left. Maybe you will go with these operatives because something better is offered to you in exchange for using your abilities to reverse engineer non-human made technology. Why not? It's better than dying on site or being raped, tortured, or exploited in even worse case scenarios. Could this be plausible? Maybe. This is just stuff that's being looked at. Clandestine operations, planning and executing covert operations, espionage activities, or sabotage missions against adversaries. Secure communications, establishing and maintaining secure communications channels for high-level military and government communications. Biological and chemical research, conducting research on biological or chemical agents, defenses against such agents, or medical countermeasures in a secure and isolated environment. Monitoring and surveillance, monitoring global developments, conducting surveillance operations, and gathering intelligence to support national security objectives. These facilities are designed to operate discreetly and under strict confidentiality, often requiring specialized personnel and stringent security protocols to safeguard sensitive information and activities. And again, in the remote viewing, these black site facilities look like square or rectangular structures underground or it could be on the surface level, depending on what their needs are, operational needs. Again, this is just a rendering what that could look like. How are underground military black site facilities operated and by whom? Underground military black site facilities are typically operated by specialized military or intelligence units, often with high levels of secrecy and security protocols. Here's a general outline of how they operate and who oversees them. Operational control. These facilities are usually under the direct control of a specific branch of the military, such as Special Operations Forces or intelligence agencies like the CIA, NSA, or similar agencies in other countries. The exact organization varies depending on the country and the purpose of the facility, or it could be run by a totally different organization like the Black Operations Group, who could be affiliates of these other agencies or working with them or working independently of them on various projects, missions, and parameters. Secrecy and security. Security measures are stringent, often including restricted access advanced surveillance systems and protocols to ensure secrecy. Personnel working at these sites are often required to sign non-disclosure agreements and undergo extensive background checks. Maybe Michael did sign a non-disclosure agreement of what he saw at this black site facility and he can't talk about it. Probably it's for his own safety and security. So again, if we cannot hear from him what this stuff looks like, we can get a general perspective from some of this info. Purpose. These sites are used for various purposes such as interrogation of high-value detainees, covert operations planning, development, and testing of advanced technologies, or secure storage of sensitive materials, reverse engineering of crafts not from Earth, and extraterrestrial bodies, cloning, genetics, the works. Legal oversight in democratic countries. In democratic countries, operations within these facilities are supposed to adhere to legal frameworks, including oversight by legislative bodies or judicial review, although the level of transparency may vary, or there may not be any oversight of legal frameworks at all, or legislative bodies or judicial review, because these black site operations facilities are run by a group that is untraceable, undetectable, and not responsible or actionable to any legal oversight. In democratic countries or not. They're not transparent, they're not being looked at with any type of oversight by government or other judicial agencies. They're almost a law unto themselves in what they do. International law. Internationally, the use of such facilities is sometimes controversial, especially if they are used for activities that could be seen as violating human rights or international law, which this Black Operations Group has done, and they've killed JSOC operatives to maintain secrecy. And they've killed other people to keep what they do secret. That's no longer quite the secret, but it is what it is. Overall, these facilities operate under a veil of secrecy and are designed to carry out missions that require high security and confidentiality, hence why Michael cannot say what he saw at this facility. And this is what can look like a surface entrance to an underground facility or a checkpoint to clear you to go underneath this facility and what's underground. How are underground military black site facilities built and with what materials? Building underground military black site facilities involves specialized engineering and construction techniques to ensure secrecy, security, and functionality. Here are some general aspects of how these facilities are built and the materials used. Location selection. The location of these facilities is critical and often chosen in remote or secure areas to minimize detection and ensure operational security. Factors such as geological stability, accessibility, and proximity to military or intelligence assets may influence site selection. Excavation and construction. The construction process typically involves extensive evacuation using heavy machinery such as excavators, bulldozers, and tunnel boring machines, TBMs. So TBMs. TBMs are particularly useful for creating tunnels and underground chambers efficiently and discreetly. These are tunnel boring machines, TBMs, and that's no longer a secret. These things are utilized to basically bore out rock, solid rock underground and create tunnel systems, chambers for these facilities to have infrastructure. And even machines that can liquefy rock, not just bore it out anymore. And there's maglev trains and transportation systems that link these black sites in proximity or long distances. Maglev trains that sort of levitate and use gravitic technology as well. Materials used to build black sites and these facilities. Concrete. Reinforced concrete is commonly used for building underground structures due to its strength, durability, and ability to withstand pressure. Steel. Steel reinforcement and structural elements are used to reinforce concrete and provide additional strength and stability. Blast-resistant materials. In areas where there is a risk of explosive attacks, blast-resistant materials such as reinforced concrete with specialized designs are employed to mitigate damage. Security features. Materials for security features include reinforced doors, security glass, and advanced surveillance and communication systems. Ventilation and utilities. Underground facilities require ventilation systems to ensure air quality and to regulate temperature. Utilities such as electrical power, water supply, and waste management systems are also installed to support operational needs. While these black site facilities might be already developing their own pyramid generator systems to get away from being connected to electrical power, water supply, and waste management systems, to be able to build their own infrastructure without connecting to other grid systems. So independent energy production for zero-point energy and free energy, to not be connected to any electrical power system, water supply, and waste management systems. So they can't be back traced with any type of a trail of where they're connected to. Secrecy measures. During construction, secrecy measures include restricting access to the site, controlling information flow, and using non-disclosure agreements with workers and contractors. If you signed an NDA, you can't talk. You're sworn to secrecy, so you don't talk, or you'll be threatened, or you'll be killed, or tortured, or much worse. So you keep your mouth shut. Integration with surface structures, or maybe non-integration and not integrating with surface structures, depending on what the facility is. Some facilities may have surface buildings that serve as disguise or support facilities for the underground operations, like security checkpoints, just to make it look like maybe it's legal. These surface structures can also house security checkpoints, administrative offices, or other essential functions to make it look normal, but it's not a secret black site operations facility. Underground, you deliberately have surface level structures to hide and mask what's underneath, so nobody will even question what's down there underground. That there's secret military operations going on. Nobody will even think about it. Overall, the construction of underground military black site facilities involves a combination of advanced engineering, specialized materials, and strict operational security to ensure effectiveness and secrecy. Now, this could be an example of what a surface level structure looks like that supports these underground facilities. It could be in a mountainous region, it could be in a desert region, a remote location that is closed off from the public access. There's no roads, you can't get into it unless you're flying by a helicopter or specialized airplane to land at these sites, or to land underground in underground hangar deck systems with blast doors that are masked by vegetation or mountains. These facilities could be in mountain ranges, and they often are, like Cheyenne Mountain. NORAD is in Cheyenne Mountain. It's inside a mountain. And they track UFOs and they monitor off-world activity, not just military human activity. How do underground military black site facilities look like? What can they look like? Underground military black site facilities are typically designed to be highly secure and discreet. They often feature the following: heavy security measures. Such facilities are heavily guarded with multiple layers of security, including armed personnel, checkpoints, and advanced surveillance systems. Minimal external signage. There's usually little or no external indication of the facility's purpose or presence to maintain secrecy. Inconspicuous entrances. Entrances are often nondescript, blending into their surroundings, such as hillsides, vegetation, industrial areas, or even urban environments. Advanced technology. Inside these facilities may feature state-of-the-art technology for communication, surveillance, and defense against intruders. Underground architecture. The layout often includes secure chambers and corridors, tunnel systems deep underground to protect against reconnaissance and attacks. Limited access. Access is tightly controlled, usually restricted to authorized personnel only, often requiring multiple levels of security clearance to get into the door, wherever that door is. Surface entrances or underground hidden entrances to these black site facilities. Isolation. They are typically located in remote or isolated areas to minimize the risk of detection and to provide operational security. Overall, these facilities prioritize secrecy, security, and operational effectiveness, ensuring that their existence and activities remain concealed from the public and adversaries. So this is just another image of what this type of a black site facility can look like. It could be on the surface or it could be underground. I wanted to go over some of these facts to just give an idea of what these facilities do, what they look like, and their operational capacities. This stuff is not classified. This is a study about understanding the workings of underground military black site facilities. It's factual information that gives sort of an overview of what these black site facilities do and how they work and how they run and who operates them, to what capacities, to understand what Michael Herrera had potentially gone into and seen and what the protocols were at this black site facility. There could be much more to this than this, but this is a general working overview of black site military underground facilities and what they do and how they operate, to give everybody an idea of how this is done and run and what's involved here. Thank you so much.